unemployment. If we want to talk a bit more about youth unemployment, it creates a very dreadful future and scenario for all of us. We're living in a situation we've never been before in terms of security and in terms of the youth bulge. Talking about a pervasive culture, sense of insecurity among young people because of youth unemployment. And it's compounded by the reality of, and it's a phenomenon driven by technology, social media, and youth aspirations. Social media has exaggerated young people's expectations of their state. It has amplified their ambitions. They're looking at things happening in Hong Kong, in London, in New York, and they want the same for themselves. They're looking at their colleagues having a great time elsewhere in any part of the world, and they want the same. And yet they do not have the same sort of quality leadership in their local space. So this, comparisons enabled by social media has exaggerated their expectations of people. We've been talking about democracy. Democracy seems to be under siege in the last few years. And then in this space within West Africa, people are questioning, the capacity of democracy to guarantee citizens what I call the entitlements of citizenship: job creation, job opportunities, healthcare, education, and social amenities. We've seen places where extremist groups have exploited these vulnerabilities and these grievances. Elsewhere, within the Lake Chad Basin area and some Sahelian countries, terrorist groups seem to understand the youth better than the state. And so they are filling the void in young people's lives left by the state. In some places, they give a young guy a motorbike, $200 and a gun. And you have a young guy who is eternally, loyal to these terrorist groups and their ideologies.
A motorbike?
Yes.
$200.
And a gun. And that's it. Elsewhere, you have extremist groups providing micro-lending services to women's groups. That allows them to buy their goodwill and support. They volunteer information to these extremist groups willingly, because for them, they are the groups, they are the state entities that are there for them. And that's why there's a danger of having what we call ungoverned spaces or limited government presence in some parts. That is dangerous for security. In places where this is pervasive, in places where you don't have the state present, and places where we describe as ungoverned spaces, it creates opportunities for terrorist groups to create what we call proto-states, where they have full access to the territories, the whole territory, and administer their own form of leadership or governance. And this is very common within the West African space.